Welcome back to SELCO TV and our Circulation 1 training. This is Rachel Gray, Information Services Librarian at SELCO. This episode of SELCO TV is going to be talking about creating and resolving blocks. To get started, we are going to load the borrower record on into Horizon. So since I know my barcode, I'm just going to use myself for this example. And I'm going to be creating a manual fee block here on my account. And I've got the borrower loaded, and I'm going to go up to blocks and add fee. And you can see that there is 20 different kinds of fees that I can choose to add to this record. I'm going to go ahead and just do a lost card fee, and all of these work exactly the same. Some libraries charge $1, some charge $2, some don't charge any for a replacement card. I'm going to say that I'm in a library that charges $1. And just because I like having everything I can be documented, I'm going to also add a comment of lost card and hit OK. And now you can see that there is a block on my record. I'm also going to add a note. And to do that, I go back up to blocks and add note. And there are 25 different kinds of blocks I can add here. Some of these include things like address correction requested. That way we know that next time the patron comes in to check out an item, that library staff knows to check for a new address for them. Or maybe they have a phone number that doesn't work or an email that doesn't work. There's different things like that here. One of the more common ones I see being added is note, and that's just leaving a comment on the patron record. And one of the things I've seen this used for is if something was left in the library and you know it belongs to the patron, or if you have a raffle or something that you want to make sure that the borrower picks that up as well next time they're in. So I'm just going to add a note of 1 quilt in raffle. And that way we know that when the borrower comes in and they come in to check out a book and you scan in their card, the comment block will pop up and then you can tell the borrower that the good news. So that's kind of a nice way to do it, and that way things don't get lost in the shuffle, especially in one of our larger libraries. There are different ways then that we can deal with these. Let's say Rachel came in and wanted to pay for that lost card fee. Actually, I'd probably pay for it right away when I got the new card. So I created the block, and now I'm going to pay for the block. So I just highlighted that and hit payment. And I'm going to pay for the $1. And it was just cash, so I'm just going to hit OK. And you can see that that goes away. I can also delete a block that has been put on there as a note block. So what I'm going to do there is just go up to blocks and delete. And it says, yes, are you sure? And I say, okay. And that goes away as well. While it goes away on the standard block screen here, it does not go away forever in Horizon. There is block history, and I just clicked on the history button at the bottom here. You can also, if you're just on the checkout record, go up to borrower and history blocks. And this will allow me to see, okay, the lost card fee was paid on the 17th of June. Or the note for the quilt raffle was taken care of there as well. So you can see the past blocks that have been resolved in that block history. You can also see a payment history. So you can do since a certain date. I'm just going to show you the one from today. So that way you can tell your borrowers if they ask a specific question about how much they've paid this year, or they want to make sure that they took care of those. You can see that there. Sometimes when a borrower comes in, you'll be able to waive a fine for them. And let me show you how that works here. I'm loading in my alternate borrower record, and I used this as an example of a damaged book in an earlier episode. So I'm going to go ahead and waive this fee because it's not our actual fee that needs to be dealt with. It is just something that's in here. And sometimes libraries have food drives, or I know of one that had a pet product drive for the local Humane Society, and they say, okay, bring in a canned food item or bring in some dog food, and you can get $1 waived off of your fine. So there's different reasons to waive things, and you might want to check with your supervisor and see if you have that authority to do so. So I have pulled up my borrower record, and the block automatically propagated, as it should. I'm going to go up to Blocks and Waiver, and this is the Waiver of Fine window. And I'm just going to put the comment in that this was just created for testing for a class. And I hit OK, and again, that disappears off of that block sheet. Then I hit CKO, and that lets me check out more items or check out items now that that block has been taken care of. I can again go into history blocks, and so I can see that missing cover needs to be replaced, was there. If I double click on it, I can get the full detail, and I can see that that was waived by Rachel, which is me, R. Gray, and it was just testing for class. So that is how you waive your fees. And I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the revenue stream for overdue and lost and damaged items. For overdue fines, regardless of who owns the material and whose library the borrower calls their home, the library that collects the money keeps the money. We figure that in the long run, everything will pretty much balance out so that it's just too much work for what it is to make sure that it gets back to the library that owns the material. On the other hand, lost and damaged items, the money will always go back to the library who incurred the loss. So if an item is lost by a Zumbrota patron and the item actually belongs to Cannon Falls, the Zumbrota library is going to need to send that over to Cannon Falls so they can replace the item or something similar to it. This is also true for waiving fines that we just covered. If a overdue fine is waived, that's all fine and good, regardless of who owns the item. But keep in mind that if it's a lost or damaged item that does not belong to you, you should not be waiving that fine. You should be charging that and sending it to the library who would need it for replacement. I hope this has helped you understand blocks just a little bit more in Horizon. Just so you're aware, overdue fines automatically are created in Horizon when an item is returned. So you don't need to worry about adding those manually. They will automatically be added by the system. So that is about all I have for you today about blocks. Tune in next time for SELCO TV and more Circulation 1.